And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to another edition of On Deck on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Well, of course, yours truly, Charles Bradge Ritchie, and join me as always, partner in crime. I'm talking about none other than Reese the Ruler. We're getting ready to get into some NBA playoff basketball for our opening segment. Coming up, Big Ten has announced some returns as far as their plans for college football. Then we'll wrap up with some NFL extra points, previewing the Chicago Bears home opener versus New York Giants. Are they any closer having fans back in the stadium as the Bears organization tries to work with Mayor Lori Lightfoot? Plus, we give you our NFL games of the week's scores predictions. Plus, you can follow us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at Project Richie. Follow my partner in crime, Reese the Ruler, on Facebook at Kimosabi, or Twitter and Instagram at ISCR3 with another boat. Definitely got a lot of stuff to get into today. Enjoying some beautiful weather as always. Reese, how you doing, my man? What's going on with you? I'm like,
You unmuted. There you go. You muted. Oh, I'm sorry. How you doing? Now you see, I got my hat. I made me a hat for the show.
oh, nice. Where'd you get that designed
Yeah.
at?
I got
I
a
like it.
coworker that did it for me. He like it. See, oh man, I appreciate him. I told him I had to wear it for the show. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Oh
I
man.
like that. It's
Today
sweet
is
right there, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Today is a good day, man. We're ready to talk some good sports. Amazing game from the Lakers. We got the White Sox clinching. It's a lot. It's a lot that's been going on in the sports
Let
world.
me ask you a question.
Tom
When you
Brady
say
first game
amazing
back, so
game,
I'm excited.
when you say amazing game, what game are you really talking about? No offense. I mean, the Nuggets, I mean, hey,
On
the,
the
the Clippers, I will
anytime I
say
get to
this.
see LeBron James.
The one thing I will say credit to the Clippers is this. They gave the Lakers some good inside nuggets on Denver.
Yeah, they definitely did. They definitely did. But I think Denver deserves to be there. So
Oh,
they
they
was the
do.
better team. They won, but I just believe and like I told everybody, you criticized LeBron James last year, said he was washed up, all that. Led the league in assists. Took a team that was not in the playoffs with the help of Anthony Davis, and now pushed them to the number one seed in the West. They've only lost twice so far, once in each round, game one. This time they didn't let the game one Wolves. That was the only concern in me, that recently just watching them play and coming out of game one, they've been a little bit dry, and then they win four straight. To see them actually handle business last night, like I said, it was a great game, and I'm glad they got it done early. Rest LeBron James, get them ready, because I think they might have a little battle against the Heat. That's what I'm predicting right now. I think it's going to be LeBron James actually playing his first ring. Eric Spoelstra. I'm just excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's an exciting time. And more than likely, I mean, it looks like the Heat right now, they could take care of business later on tonight in game three. Remember, 2-0 in a series not usually always guarantees automatic, like serious success for that time being. We see many teams gone up 2-0 in the history of the NBA. I mean, it's definitely a most makeable comeback, if you ask me, when we look at it. I mean, around this time, but the Celtics going through it seems like some leadership issues, some chemistry issues right now. And head coach Brad Stevens yesterday, or like sometime around, get some Celtics like leaders real quick to try and find out what's going on. I mean, with this team, it's a lot of things right now. They seem to be slowly unraveling when we look at it. I mean, right now we got Gordon Hayward with an ankle injury. He's questionable for tonight's matchup against the Heat on Saturday. Uh, and they really believe there's a real chance of his time to return. But like I said, he held a late night hotel meeting with the team's leaders on Thursday, talked through the frustrations and emotions that spilled into the locker room after their game two loss. For many of those people who did get to tune in and see the end of the game, I mean, pretty much just saw, I mean, like the Miami Heat. I mean, basically, when we look at it, just their defense just locked down the Celtics right there. They're resilient. They're down. But, I mean, just kind of like the Lakers in a way, like I said, I definitely do believe for right now, I mean, they are a team to be reckoned with. This is not a team to be taken lightly for right now. I mean, Jimmy Butler, who's in his ninth year, trying to get that elusive ring, I mean, for his career, you better believe right now the Celtics, if they don't get it done tonight, I think they're in for a rude awakening, if you ask me.
Um, cool heads prevail. Excuse me, cool heads prevail. That's that's number one. You don't want your team to feel nervous. I really think that he should not have that practice. Understand that it's not over. I think I forgot what the my man Aaron Rodgers said one time. I think they was down, and then he said it's okay. He said something, but after he said, like relax, it's not over yet, guys. They just took off. I think they won like 8 straight games. So they got to understand, like you said, it's been manageable. I've watched. I think one year the Spurs was beating OKC when they went to the playoffs. I mean, to the a championship. They was up 2-0 against OKC, and then OKC came in and won 4 straight. So it's possible. We've been looking at the Denver Nuggets been down 3-1, 2 series back to back, and have come back. So I just really think you tell a team, hey, man, we out there. We're in every game. Every game has been a battle, but it's about who won it more. So if you're going to tell them anything, say, guys, listen, man, it's no need for us to feel anxious or be upset. Just understand we've been in every game. Let's learn from our mistakes, trust each other out there. But what's very interesting to me is I play a lot of 2K, that they're in a 2-3 zone is kind of like I call it a two. So like that 2-3 zone with them having Crowder as well as Jimmy Butler at the top is giving them problems with the length and the wingspan is making like it's kind of hard for the Celtics to score in that. And it seems like as the Celtics are trying to mirror their a 2-3, Bam is more determined to cut in, and he is killing the inside of their 2-3. So I don't know what's going on, but Boston has to stick to their identity and get back to it.
I mean, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we've seen this Miami Heat team all year long. I mean, we like the style of Jimmy Butler pairing up with a guy like Pat Riley, who's always been a grinder. I mean, just like Jimmy Butler in his own way, been a perfect match for this team. I mean, we look at this Heat team from top to bottom, and for everything that they've been able to pull off. I mean, throughout the year. I mean, basically, I mean, you got Amadeu right here, right now, who's averaging 15.9 points per game. I mean, this past season right now, and everybody, I think Dragic seems to be one of the
Dragic, leading scorer on the team right now in the bubble.
Yeah, no, I mean that's no doubt. But
Clinch
I
the
mean,
game for him.
you got to believe for right now. I mean, when we look at this right now for the Boston Celtics, I was mentioning it's only happened at least 18 times in the history of the NBA. Whenever a team has gone 2 games to none to win a series, only 18 teams have come back from 2-0 deficits. The most recent one being 2 years ago, which was Cleveland Cavaliers over the Boston Celtics, which LeBron James made history, matching the Boston Celtics to get to the finals 8 straight times in a row. So if there's any hope for the Celtics right there, that's what we got right there going on in the playoffs for this time being.
Yeah, they just got to come out there and beat him. Don't worry about Hayward. I think for the most part, since Hayward's been over there, he's been injury prone anyway. So to me, his offense hasn't always been just focus on who they got there. Marcus Smart is playing incredible right there on both ends on the floor. His defensive, like he's giving his body up. Everybody just need to stay focused, stay the course. Understand that you've been winning games, just being who you are. Don't try to be somebody you aren't. I do think Kemba needs to turn it on a little bit more. If they want to win and dominate, Kemba has to drop 30, or Tatum has to drop 40.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, when we look at the Celtics team, I mean, 2 years ago, people would make the argument like, well, if Kyrie Irving didn't get hurt around March of 2018, they'd probably get past LeBron James and the Cavaliers at that point in time. You fast forward a year later, you don't get back to the conference finals. And then, like this year, you're doing it once again without Kyrie Irving. You get to the store right now, you're still down 2 games to none. It's still a very makeable comeback, if you ask me. But how much does it say for like a coach and Brad Stevens, who's in his eighth straight year? I mean, in his seventh straight year, I should say, with the Celtics right now. How much pressure is on him to finally figure this thing out? I like a guy like Brad Stevens. I like his enthusiasm, but at the end of the day, same old story where it's in his collegiate career or NBA seems to be coming up short in big moments.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, he's the coach from Butler, correct? That had won it.
Say that again?
He was the coach from Butler, and they had won it, or was it
I don't
Xavier? I
believe they
think.
did. No.
Okay, well, I mean, Brad Stevens, I think he's an incredible coach. I remember when he took control of that team, and nobody believed that he can actually do it, and he's made that team better and better every year. I do believe that if he does not go past into the finals, he will stay, but he's definitely on the hot seat. But I believe that sometimes it comes down to them players on the court. I can draw up the best plan ever, but it's about execution. So I think that they're out there, they have to execute. I watch them miss wide open shots, take tough shots. I watch them not help on the pick and rolls. It's only so much a coach can do before the team has to execute. I'm telling you, I'm seeing every time they pick and roll, bam, going to the hole, somebody switch over. If I tell you that and you go out there and you don't do it, how much ownership is it on the coach?
Yeah, I just feel like, sometimes players, they do have to be a little bit more responsible. You have to figure it out. And speaking of which, too, let's flip things over to the West. I know we're going to get to the Lakers here in just a second, but Doc Rivers right now, who's in the same amount of years as Brad Stevens is with the Clippers right now, had 3 games to none series lead right there. You hear a lot of stories throughout this conference. You have one player who was going out to get some wings outside the bubble. I'm not sure if that was Patrick Beverly, if I'm not mistaken. You can talk about that, Reese.
Yeah, it was him.
Yeah, I mean, so you see a lot of stuff like right there, for example, and like what happened and how they were handling themselves. I mean, a lot of people kept insisting this was a team that was built to beat the Lakers. I'm not so sure if I'm ready to go that route right there. I mean, obviously, you have one of the greatest players on the court at that moment in time in Kawhi Leonard, but I think some things you're starting to see is starting to come true. It's like how much he was fortunate to be with those old Spurs teams back in the day, trying to do what he can right now and to like really like lead his own team. He hopped onto a Raptors team. Obviously, he had some guys like Pascal Siakam, but I gotta believe right now, Rivers. One thing that like I kind of liked at first, but not really like too much long. Like what he do after they lost on Sunday? They got together, they watched some football to kind of like ease their minds off. They blew a 12-point lead in that game, and just to watch the Nuggets like lock them down and be so resilient in that game, even like Murray and one of their big guys in there. I mean, they just just got flat out embarrassed, in my opinion, right there. Where do you lean on that side? As do you point the finger necessarily at Doc Rivers, or at the end of the day, does it still come up where players need to grow up and be self-responsible on the court? Where do you stand on that?
I want to put the blame on maybe both of them. So I was, like you said, first of all, I'm only going to say that because of what I've heard. I don't have any sources really that close to Doc Rivers, but listening to them on ESPN, that they was explaining how, like you said, Doc Rivers had made them watch the game to take their mind off of it on Sunday. But he also had told one of his assistants to plan a dinner after game 6. And the assistant was like, well, what happened if we don't win? And then he said, well, we definitely need the dinner then. So I think they was already in a win mind after being up 3-1, and that's what you can't do. And I also want to, give my hats off to the Nuggets because every game I think they had to come back down and win it. So like I said, hats off to Denver, for being able to do that and beat a team that Vegas and a lot of the world had them either not winning it but at least making it to the Western Conference Finals. So, but I would like to say to me, Kawhi went to sleep at the wheel. If you look at him play, I feel like he could have dominated the game. And like I always tell everybody, I don't know if I tell you, Paul George to me is not clutch. It's always something I guarantee they're gonna say he was injured or he's gonna have surgery. He's always not a number two. And then when you got him in a position because he tried to be a number one, he was missing, hitting the side of the backboard. Like you said, at a certain time, when you have that team, they have to execute. If I'm the coach, I can only coach you so far until you got to go out there and you got to do it. You got to make the plays. They was missing wide open shots. So as a coach, what do I tell my team? You're shooting wide open. Like it's really nothing. I'm drawing up plans. I'm getting you wide open, and you're missing. At some point, the players have to take responsibility. And I just think the players went into relaxation mode, up 3-1. They said, oh, this is in the bags. You know, ain't that many team. I know they came from last time, but this is not us. And they fell asleep. Kawhi needed to turn it up, and he didn't. I think he shot, 5 for 20. It was terrible. Paul George, 6 for 20s. It was terrible. So how do you blame the coach when he shot at least 18 wide open shots and only hit 6? You know, and like how do you blame the coach? What do I do if I bench him? Then you'll say it's my fault because I benched him. You know, then it's gonna say, okay, he went out and got wings. Now everything is highlighted. When you do anything wrong and you lose, it's more highlighted. If they would have won and he got some wings, it would have been wings didn't stop me, you know, and then it would have been, it would have moved on. But once you do something and it does something into the team, they put any kind of blame on anybody. So I just think Doc Rivers did the best he could. Do I think he should be fired? No, but I will understand if he is. If he is, I definitely will understand.
You know what? I'd like to stick up for a guy like Doc Rivers, especially when you got things going on right now. I mean, it's more than just like race thing. I mean, like Black Lives Matter. But I will tell you this, though. Coming from an NBA champion before, who's won his only ring as a coach, never got it done as a player. But I will say this. I mean, Doc Rivers, I mean, he is to the NBA as what Mike Tomlin is to the NFL as far as like leaders in today's generation. However, but like I said, this is like your 7th year as coach of this team. You had been stripped of like an executive, a GM role in a way about a couple of years ago. I mean, with the Clippers' new front office branch right there. So they kind of made you the coaching right there. They realized how good you're in that. I mean, you kind of got a little bit more chefs in the kitchen in that front office, but I do like the fact you got Jerry West. I just feel at some point you do have to look yourself hard in the mirror for a franchise who's never been to a conference finals, yet alone an NBA finals. How much more of like what do you guys settle for coming up short in moments like that? How much inconsistency? When is enough right there? Because at some point, it is a performance business at the end of the day. If I were looking to someone to replace Doc Rivers, if he does get replaced, and I do understand that, I would look at automatically former coach of LeBron James, Tyronn Lue right there. I would definitely call him up. I would even look at a guy like Jason Kidd, who's actually the assistant coach right now with the Lakers. You don't think he wants to get back on the coaching level right there? So I'm thinking this respectfully. If you want to look at a black head coach, I'll probably look at those top 2 candidates right there. Or how about Mark Jackson right there?
My number one is Mark Jackson. I was going to say that's my number one.
I'm just saying, though, you have at some point you have to question. It's like, when is enough enough? At some point, Clippers, you want to be winners. You don't want to keep selling up for second best. And you know what? If I'm the owner, I like Doc Rivers. I respect him. But at some point, we can't keep coming up short under this watch right now. He had so many chances, even with Griffin back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, but first of all, I think those Griffin, years, we knew at that time, especially with the Warriors, being as dominant as they are, we knew there was no way that the Clippers could ever be Golden State. So we got to understand them Warriors.
But however, they were up three games to 2 once upon a time 5 years ago against the Rockets. What ended up happening there? You lose the next 2 games. There's problems where you've had moments to really finish the job, but you have not been finishing. I have a problem with that. More when we get back. We're going to hold on to this right now. We're just getting started right now here and on deck on CSR. We're going to quickly swing things over to the Lakers when we get back. Break. And then from there, we're going to talk about the Western Conference Finals and get some Big Ten college football return in about a month. Reese, I don't know how you're feeling about that. Can't wait to hear your thoughts when we come out of this first break. College football, Big Ten, man.
It's on right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're just getting started here on Deck. I'm Charles Ricci. That's Reese Ruler. Watch and listen on Deck on CSR.
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
And welcome back here to On Deck on CSR. Of course, me, Charles Ricci, and of course, Reese Ruler right now. Digging the hat, my man. Loving the debut on that as we're continuing to move a lot more further right now. Getting ready to swing back to one of our favorite players, and especially yours, Reese. LeBron James right now and the LA Lakers right now seem to be figuring things out at the right time right now. I know a lot of people like Stephen A. Smith, other people across, the media world, were looking at this Lakers team and were highly concerned about how they were finishing out the season. I think they had a losing record about that time when they finished out the bubble regular season. But now that they've been in the playoffs, what's really been happening? The first two rounds, they lost the first game, finished them off in gentlemen sweeps with the Portland Trailblazers and then the Houston Rockets. And I got to be honest with you, last week, I did not see that blowout coming to eliminate the Rockets right there in that fifth closeout game right there, the way they did. I just feel like the chemistry with Russell Westbrook fitting in with James Harden and everyone else, this is not the same Rockets team. The Rockets have moved on from Mike D'Antoni right now. He sounds like he might be rumored for the Philadelphia 76ers head coaching job. But as for right now, if you're the Lakers, all the trash talk that people want to be giving the LA Clippers, and I understand it. When you think back, a lot of people keep insisting they're the team to beat the LA Lakers. But I tell you what, for right now, if I'm LeBron James and the LA Lakers, I'm reminding my squad right now that this is our moment right now, considering number one, Kevin Durant went over to the Brooklyn Nets. He's no longer on the Warriors. Plus, Steph Curry got hurt earlier in the season. The Warriors didn't even make the playoffs, so they're out of the way. That's number one. You also don't have the Houston Rockets, who a lot of people kept predicting to bring this team down, finish them off in 5 games. You got the LA Clippers collapsing in a 3-game-to-1 series upset loss to the Denver Nuggets. They're out of the way. All you got to really focus on right now is a resilient, respectable team in the Denver Nuggets. And then, of course, you're the winner of the Heat Celtics game. But I will tell you this. What I really believe cost the Nuggets last night, their opportunity with game number 1, they got in foul trouble early in that game. And I think around the second quarter, when you saw Jokic right there, who had about 4 personal fouls right there. Remember, he had to sit on the bench for quite some time in that second quarter. And that's where the Lakers really started exploding little by little, especially that third quarter right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. I was watching the game. If you notice in the first quarter with Joker being in there, he was actually passing the ball, opening the whole game up for the team. And once he went to the bench, as you said, the Lakers did take off. I do think that Joker is going to play a big part in their offense. He has to remain out of foul trouble, because with him being in foul trouble, I think the Lakers have a big advantage, especially in the post. Just their whole offense as a Nuggets team works better, if a Joker stays out of foul trouble, because he's the best passer on the team.
Yeah, and not that too, but the one thing that the Lakers, I don't think a lot of people are really appreciating right now, they're inside the paint scoring and also their fast break points. They've been beating people statistically in every game and every series so far, matchup-wise. So, the thing is, too, even with the Rockets, I tell you what, one thing I will give the Lakers credit in that second round, they had a lot of resilience right there. Having to defend that 3-point ball against the Rockets right there, would just seem like to be one of their main answers. Lakers continue to prove to be a well-rounded team right there. And then the other thing I like about it too, man, that was a sick-ass over the board shot by Rajon Rondo right there, playing a game
Yeah,
before
Rajon
starting the
Rondo.
game. I think playoff
He
Rondo is
definitely.
safe to say is arrived.
Yeah, definitely. And like I told people, I said once Rondo gets in there, it's going to be like a lot better because it's going to take the pressure off LeBron James. And once it take the pressure off LeBron James, that's a more dominant LeBron James when he can play off ball. When Rondo can come in and throw it up to AD, Howard for assists. It gives LeBron James, I won't say time to take off plays, but to conserve energy. Because when you have to have LeBron James control the ball, bring the ball up and down, playing defense, does all that, LeBron James is less effective. So you want to reserve him for just in case if you need that fourth quarter burst. And I think Rondo is out there shooting very well right now. I don't know what he did. I don't know if it's the new twist in his head, but I want to tell him that Rondo is out there shooting the ball very well. Defense is great. Assists and vision, everything. He's the point guard that the Lakers need right there, right now. And the other Lakers are playing their role. I want to tell you, Caldwell Pope, he woke up to me also in the bubble. He's shooting very well from the three. And, so as long as the Lakers hold on to their identity, I would like to see some more J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters. I thought that they would have more of an impact off the bench than what they've been having now. But I guess, sometimes it's a game, So, like, as you can see, the Denver Nuggets, a lot of people don't talk about Millsap, but Millsap was incredible for the Denver Nuggets in that last series in Game 5 and 7. So maybe it's a J.R. Smith sighting in one of these games, or maybe he'll show up in the finals or a Dion Waiters. But the Lakers just need their a bench, their role players to just step it up. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they're leading the way.
And speaking of which, right now, we just heard the MVP votes right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo wins it for a second straight year. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. I think he was definitely like neck and neck with LeBron James. But I look at it this way. I tend to look at MVP voting a lot more differently in this regard. I mean, it's not just like your body of work during the regular season, which I get. They had the best record in all the NBA, but also how you do a little bit in the playoffs. I think that needs to be factored in a little bit more because I just feel like right now, you saw Giannis, he had 962 votes, about 209 more votes than LeBron James. He finished off with 753 votes. Personally, I feel LeBron James got robbed right there. And you can definitely tell LeBron James was frustrated when he heard the result right there. He heard it in his emotion. What did you think of the voting right there? And you can definitely tell that kind of like pissed him off right there. But I'll tell you what, I like that mindset right now. If you didn't get the MVP, that shows me it's kind of like what Jordan did like in 97 when he lost to Karl Malone. He wanted to show him who the real MVP was by winning the championship, winning the NBA Finals hardware.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But I think Giannis, I won't say he deserved it, but he came in, played it. They had the league best record. We've seen most of the MVPs go to the person that most likely led the team to the best record, especially if they was a leading scorer, all-star, one of the top people. LeBron James have got it for that. It's only rare moments when people felt like they should have got it and they didn't, like when Steve Nash won it a couple of times. But it's all about the main goal, and that's a more, like you said, that's a more added fuel. LeBron James definitely was upset. He questioned what is the MVP. Like how do you? I think the criteria he questioned about the MVP voting. I do not think that you should add what you do in the playoffs because it's called the regular season MVP. So, and then you get a playoff, a finals MVP. So I do believe it's what you did in the regular season. You led the team to the best record. Before the break, he was playing incredible, shooting the ball well. LeBron James did have a breakout year in there, and I should think it should have been closer. I want to say co-MVP, but I think the right person won and everything. So I said Giannis won it fair and square, but LeBron James should just use that and get Get that an MVP in the finals. That's the one that matters the most.
Do you think that people are getting tired of the notion? I mean, as great as LeBron James is, we see his greatness over the years. Do you think there's just some people are just holding it against him when there's just times where a lot of times he's not finishing shots. He'll be dishing out to someone, trying to make his team better. But also, too, do you think they still hold it against him that this is a guy who's left his hometown in Cleveland, went over to Miami, came back to Cleveland, go over to LA, creating the superstar league right there? Do you think there's still some resentment as far as like not wanting to honor this guy when he's won it previously about 4 times?
I think that could probably play a factor into it, but like I said, Giannis had an incredible year all around. So I believe that he deserved it. I'm not going to take that away from him, but LeBron James also deserved it as well. And his greatness probably is being overshadowed because we've been seeing it for almost 20 years or something like that, 15 years. So I guess we used to seeing his greatness already. That people that's coming in the league now that they probably trying to make a wave for the new people like Giannis to win it. LeBron James led the league in assists. I think he had like 25 points in the season, so that's definitely an MVP, worthy season. But like Giannis had an incredible year, led the Bucks to the best team. I think they clinched even before the bubble. They was already clinched as a playoff team. So take your hats off to that, and don't worry about this regular season. When the regular season is over, you are 7 wins away from being an NBA champion. Focus on that hardware now. Let's use that as, okay, I ain't get this one. That's okay. I'm going to get that one, the one that actually matters. But while you sitting at home looking at your regular season MVP, I'm sitting at home looking at my finals MVP as well as my NBA finals trophy. So
What time is it? Game time!